Namibia needs me and Namibia needs you. Welcome to the podcast that breaks down the week's news and brings it right back to what we can actually do about it.
Yeah.
This week we're speaking to a very special guest, Pombili Shilongo, well known by all of us as one of our foremost influencers, but she's also doing incredible work.
Yeah, so apart from being an influencer, she's also into early childhood development. She runs a mentorship program, and I mean, she's also a marketing specialist.
She's a real
Yeah.
communications expert, but she'll tell us more about it. So let's get into it. Welcome to this week's roundup, Chinola. I am so pleased to have a very special guest in the studio with us today.
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to a very excited discussion for the day. And yeah, shall we introduce our guest?
Ms. Pombili has agreed to join us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be on the show and also just have a good conversation.
I think we're all very starstruck. Janola and I are used to sitting here and talking all of this nonsense by ourselves.
Yeah.
And now we've got this beautiful star in here with us. But it's going to be great. We've got 3 stories to cover. The first one's, I think, the most engaging one of all.
Yes, so I don't know if you guys saw, but recently there was a video of our president endorsing investment scheme. And the video, obviously, if you are tech savvy, you could look through and see that this was AI generated, or is it not? But the video was sort of just the president in promoting an investment scheme, they called it. But obviously the video was fake. And then the presidency came out and said, no, the video is fake and fraudulent, and the president does not support and or remotely identifies with the content of that video. Yeah.
I think also what we will find as a tricky thing within Namibia is really look at the marginalized community and people that have access to smartphones. You're talking to 3 different dynamics. You have those that have access to a smartphone that cannot pick up AI. Then you have those that do have the smartphone but can pick up AI. Then you have really people that just have their smartphones, as long as they're connected, they're able to call, they're based in the farm, have absolutely no idea about what is this AI thing. And so what they see, they believe. They don't have that eye to detect, what are you saying? What is this AI? How is it done? And that's a whole mixture within Namibia. So you can imagine those that follow the news, those that have access to information will get the correction, but then you also have like a small population of people where their really form of information is radio, and they can only hear about this, but then they don't have access to see the difference.
That's such a good point you make about the correction part, because it's fine and well that, it's been corrected and we know that that was fake now. But that message doesn't reach everyone who the first message reached. And so it just really emphasizes the importance of checking your sources, especially when it comes to things that seem a little bit off or sensationalist. And obviously this is a global trend. It's been happening. It's going to happen more and more. In America, I think Biden was quoted saying things he never said. In India, opposition parties, leaders actually show and people believe it. It reminds me a little bit of a testimony you referred to in your church earlier, in which someone was saying that their bank details were used to rob them. But in their bank details, they included their CVV number. So it spread this misinformation. On the one hand, it makes us a country that is hesitant to engage in online banking because we think it's a way of people stealing our money. But we're behind in that. And on the other hand, it does make us so susceptible to people actually stealing our money.
And I think also the most important thing is that when we also do see these kinds of content, don't reshare it, don't repost it. Rather, like I know the Ministry of Information Communication Tech, they have this hotline number on their website that you can inform that, no, this is the content that I saw, I think it's fake, and then they can sort of see how to mitigate it, maybe how to remove it from, our internet space and things like that. So it's important, even for us as citizens, try to report these things and do not reshare to say, but is this true, guys? Because even in that little, is this true, guys, you've already now multiplied its effect.
Exactly.
So, but what does that say about freedom of expression? Don't I have the freedom to share whatever I want?
But there you go, back to check your sources again,
Yeah.
because you don't want to be in a position where you were guilty of sharing inaccurate information because you were just trying to make sure or not. So I would say rather check your sources first before you spread the message.
And freedom of expression doesn't enable you to cause harm.
Yeah.
So we don't have hate speech legislation in the country yet, but we're working on it, because sometimes your freedom of expression can actually harm other people.
Yeah.
For example, sharing inflammatory stuff that's fake, right?
Yeah.
So we need to check that. Our freedom of expression doesn't go into the realm of being able to cause people harm.
I think it's a collective responsibility that we all become advocates of digital ethics. Where information we share with each other on social media platforms, we ensure that it's to help to promote or to share some kind of encouraging message, but not really to share mis or disinformation.
So how does this filter into the upcoming elections? We're taking a real election-focused approach in the next 5 episodes. How does fake news and AI-generated videos feed into what we're going to be seeing more of?
Last year, NID was part of the Namibia Fact-Checking Coalition. This was a group of NGOs that came together with the core aim of ensuring that information circulated around the elections is neither fake nor misleading, nor in one way or the other inciting any kind of violence. What happened was there were a lot of fake videos, particularly
Last year,
Itula.
Janola?
Yes, in last year's elections, particularly of Itula supporting SWAPO, the SWAPO presidential candidate supporting Itula. So it was a lot of fake news. And even after the results were announced, you saw fake ECN
Yes.
announcement posts.
I was gonna go with that.
Yeah, you saw the Namibian, the Namibian has this template that they use for their social media.
So they would
content.
just grab that off
Yeah.
and then place it off.
Their own content, yes.
How do you then identify and double check the information? Because even most of these media platforms weren't even aware of the misinformation that was going out. And that really made us as Namibians to also be woke around, where am I getting the information of the results coming out? This misinformation, AI generated content, filters like literally throughout,
Yeah.
from videos to
Yeah.
results to anything trending around.
So when you search, it's the fake news.
It's
that
the
appears
fake
first,
news
yeah.
that would appear
Yeah.
first. So as a Namibian, you would want to, at this point in time when it's election time, I think those that listen to radio are quite safer, because then, that journalist or radio personality has made 100% sure that they're giving you the actual information coming either from ECN or, from the designated people. But when it comes to social media, every media house is in a hurry to announce the information, and it sort of like leaves the viewer to say, I'm going to go check out with this media house and that media house, and that gives room for the fake information to also filter and come through. But we should really keep an eye on it, because it's almost like you're saying it's peak season for fake content.
Yes, exactly. I think for Billy and Ethne, my feeling then would be that follow, because ECN is an official page. We know it, they regularly post their content there. The Namibian has, an official page. So make sure that you follow the official pages. And I mean, concerning elections, the most accurate source would be directly from the commission. But also, maybe if you don't have access to the internet, or access to, let's say, their website or their Facebook, the ECN has 14 regional directorates with a regional election officer. Find their office in your locality or in your region where you are, and there you will get the right information as well.
Oh I've never visited these offices, but you have, Janola.
Yes, even recently,
to.
You have to?
Yes, I have.
Tell us.
Well, I have visited their offices. I mean, obviously, had to make sure that my voter's card was in check, and also because I've moved from one area to a different
another.
area, I then needed to familiarize myself with the councillor within that area. Who are they? Because I can't go back to where I used to stay to go and vote there.
Yeah.
My input is needed where I am currently staying.
Yes.
So all of that information was accessible from the council.
There's been a lot of talk recently about our president building really close ties with Botswana. What's the point of these engagements? Why are we focusing so much on Botswana recently?
I think the biggest challenge is that both countries have a very small population. So in order to maximize on economic growth and economic activity for the collective benefit of both countries, though sovereign, is to be able to come up with these bilateral agreements that then allow for free trade, establishment of, in this case, a commission that would just be responsible for identifying, let's say, different sectors, and therefore increasing or trying to improve those sectors, like exchange of agriculture. The purpose of the agreement is basically just just how can we best form a relationship that empowers us both to benefit.
You know, we all know that you only need IDs to pass through the border, and you've had an experience of this?
Yes, so sometime in April, well, our president announced that you could now visit Botswana. You don't need a passport anymore. You could just use your ID. But we were all like, really? Is it true? Is it not true? And then in the month of June, our executive director, Naita Hishono, executive director of NID, actually through her work with the APRM, the African Peer Review Mechanism, visited Botswana. And upon arrival at the border, they only, showed their ID and they were allowed in.
Isn't it nice?
Had a few workshops there and then came back into the country. I think that kind of flow of people moving into it makes business easy as well. It makes, like, really, like you said, economic enhancement very easy.
Also, they have been, given the past history between Namibia and Botswana, they've generally always have had a good relationship. And it's really also beautiful to see from one president to another that each head of state coming on board has always sort of like alleviated that relationship even further to what the previous president has already established. And I think it's just growing really from one greater heights to another. And then, of course, incorporating or trying to grow both countries with such a small population, a very big magnitude, on how they can both use their strengths and weaknesses to grow one another. And like what you said, I mean, both of our airports aren't really the best of state. Unemployment is also a thing for both countries. And so I think if both countries come down and sit and have a conversation around this, seeing that the problems are similar, solutions could probably also be similar. Yeah.
Dr. Esperance Luvendau saying, listen, we've got a universal health care policy. This is exciting. Part of being in a democracy is having universal health care, is having that social responsibility towards our citizens. What's happening though? Are we getting better? Are we getting worse? Is this a move in the right direction?
I think it's very much a move in the right direction. And a lot of countries are following this trend globally according to SDG 3, which is, as it's called, universal healthcare.
What is SDG for those of us who don't know?
Also, the Sustainable Development Goals, launched in 2010 by the UN so what the goals basically just do is they recognize cross-cutting issues across the world, like that all the countries face.
Yes.
And then they've sort of segmented those issues and sort of give requirements that each country should follow to mitigate their things.
So actually our life expectancy has risen from 47 to 56 years. That's great. Look, 56 years isn't incredible for our life expectancy to be. And I think the way that we look after our young kids is a big part of that. But still, that's a move in the right direction. Coverage of basic health services improved from 39% in 2000 to 63% last year. That's a massive gain. So we're improving, but people are still struggling. There's a lot of hardship being faced. Communicable diseases, non-communicable diseases, infrastructure lacking, not enough money to pay interns.
Support.
Oh, mental health support's a whole other ball game, right? And then the fact that we still have many people having to travel very long distances to their nearest clinic. And then they get to their nearest clinic and the clinic doesn't offer all the services it should.
Things like that,
So a long way to go. Tell us a little bit about let's plug a few of the things that you're busy with at the moment. Tell us a little bit more of where we can find more of you and the things you're doing.
Well, I'm more into the digital marketing space.
You're so good at it.
Thank you. Using more my brand to push other brands, but also use my platform to engage, uplift young people. I am currently working on two projects. One is called Africa is Waiting, and that's basically a movement that focuses firstly on parents sharing their parental skills and also their journey. I feel like there's a big gap in Namibia when it comes to young people want to be parents, of course, but like, where's the map? But like, what are you looking towards? That's not there. So with the movement of Africa is Waiting, we're really diversifying and having conversations with people that can share their wisdom and their knowledge. But it's also a movement that has, kiddies clothing line, because you would want every African child to make sure that their dream and their vision is essential. I mean, this is the Africa we're building. And I just want to encourage everybody out there, please, to just do the right thing.
Yes.
And I have to say, Namibia is waiting. Namibia needs you. Find your why and then participate in that. At the end of the day, your call counts. Yes. Yeah.
For more information on structures of our democracy and, of course, how you can be an active citizen, find Namibia Needs Me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, our website, an information database made just for you.